Welcome back to Money Monday with yours truly, HRT Rich, over there on X or Twitter. If you haven't followed me yet, kindly do so. And of course, to my left, but really I'm pointing right, terrific Terry. Hey, how are you, Terry?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm doing all right. So
Going to be a pretty crazy day today at Parx. Lots of races, 11 of them. Lots of deep fields, too many of them. And then a couple of pick fives that are going to have, I think at least one's a mandatory payout, maybe both. $350,000 in prize money before any new money hits the, so that's just carryover money. So a lot cooking today, Terry, including a refresh over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. If you haven't checked out our new site, there it is. Just went live today. So you can see here the monthly package for the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, already getting prepped for that, for the first Saturday of May. And of course, free picks today. Today is the opening day for Horseshoe Indianapolis. Here's the free track. They'll be running pretty soon. So you can head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet, to the link down in the description below. Check that out. Check out Indiana Grand. And let's see what happens today, Mr. Terry.
Okay.
All right. You and I, you ready to get to work on this big card? You know, kind of interesting, though. The first race is one of these pick fives. Terry and I made our pick five selections, along with our pick four selections, along with our $8 that we get to bet outside of our normal win bet, exacta, trifecta, superfecta bets. So all sorts of stuff going on today, Terry.
There are, yeah.
All right. So what's cooking with race number one?
All right. Well, we're going to be starting out at a mile and 70 yards. It's an optional claiming race, $16,000 claiming price if you elect to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed. Purse $25,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for $16,000 or less, and which have never won 2 races, or claiming price is $16,000, which have never won 2 races.
A lot to get started with. So this one is a mile and 70 yards, as you mentioned, Terry. Early speed does do pretty well. 42% of the time it gets to the front, stays to the front, and crosses the finish line first. There's a little bit of a rail penalty, so Rush Center could struggle a little bit to live up to those 5-1 odds. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 and 7 also get a penalty. 8 and out is also fair. So it's kind of a mixed bag there. No deal makers or deal breakers, so to speak, in that, Terry. We also do 10,000 simulations around here where we look for early speed. You see his big field there, Terry. The 11 scratched out here at the end.
Yep.
So big field in here, Mr. Terry. We want to see horses that perhaps have simulation odds below the post-time odds. Par plus means when we did our 10,000 simulations, 57% of the time Jeeper ran a speed figure of at least 85, if not better. And then we want to see who has the best chance to be on the lead, because we said 42% go wire to wire. And then based upon our projected pace, who's likely to be sitting in their comfort zone? The higher the score, the more likely this race will match some of their better performances. Terry, who's going to get out of the gate and get going right as we get going?
Well, the 2 horses that show the most speed are the rail horse and the outside horse, the 12 and the 1. And then that 2 has a small overlay from about almost 9-1 to 10-1. The 3 has an overlay from 6-5 to 5-2, and the 4 has an overlay from 3-1 to 12-1. Nice one. And then the 3 shows the best par numbers. And then 4, 2, 6, 7, and 12 show some par numbers in addition to that. All but the 6 show some kind of a C-zone number.
We also do trip handicapping, plot out on the track where the horses have done their best. You see most of these folks here want to be middle or back. So at the speed distance, perhaps some early speed could be the difference maker here, Terry. Looks like Rush Center and Jeeper. Those 2 inside horses have the best chance to be up on the lead early, although there's plenty of competition for that top spot. Late speed could be definitely instrumental in winning a race at a mile and 70 yards. Majestic Lion does have 1 tick quicker than Jeeper. You see Jeeper, that horse was on the front early on the back at the end. Should grade out as our top total pace horse does. 6 points clear of Midnight Award. Anytime we see a number of 5 or more, because each 5 points equates to roughly 1 length, the Jeeper could win this one by 1 length if total pace is the key that unlocks the door, Terry. But you have your eyes on another.
Yeah, I like that outside horse, the 12, Level Up. He won his last race at Parx Racing. He has a high percentage winning trainer jockey. Then the 9 Midnight Award is my second choice, finishing the money in his last 3 races. He won the last start, has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 25% of the races in the first race after claiming a horse. Then that 3 is Zeeper. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then the 5 is my long shot, Dudley Dickerson. He won his last race by a whopping 11 lengths at Parx Racing, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Of course, we do our regular bets in these races, and that would be the $2 to win on our first choice, a $1 exacta box on our first 2 choices, a trifecta 50-cent trifecta box on our first 3 choices, and a 10-cent superfecta box on our first 4. And then we're going to do a pick 5 today. I'm going to use the 3-9-12 with the 1-6-7, with the 1-3-5-8, with the 1-8, with the 3-7. That's a $72 cost.
Terry spending big money there, my man. Well, you got to spend money to make money. And, they say that imitation is the highest form of flattery. So we have Umet here. Is Hollywood Umet in the house?
All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with the 3-horse Jeeper. That's my top pick to start it off. Just missed at this level. Did run the top last race speed figure. Was 6 points clear of everybody else. And we mentioned that it had the top total pace well above everybody else. That combination usually does fairly well. Level Up, Terry's top pick. My second choice in here. Won its first race at Parx last time out relatively easily after track dropping. My little concern there where the fractions weren't all that fast. So maybe the horse has some left, or maybe someone might be just a touch quicker today. Number 9, Midnight Award. This one is track dropping, coming in from Turf Way Park. That's usually a pretty good angle in here. Ran better early fractions last out, which is usually an indication of a horse that is improving. And then finally, number 10, Booster Shot. We've had about 40,000 of them. This one ran a Z pattern last time out, so its early pace was here, then dropped off a little in the middle of the race, and then found its second wind coming down the stretch, and did so with a little quicker fractions. I'm going to come out of the box with a single here, Terry, hoping that 3-horse in this big field can pull it off for me. Then the 2-5-9, then the 3-5, and then I'm going to go a single again with the 8-horse, and then all on the back end. So I hope that I'm alive going into the last race. I'll feel good about that, but nervous all the way to it.
Yep.
That last race is going to be insane. Good morning, Sean. How are you today, my friend? Thanks for joining us. If you like what you see, a couple of thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, kindly go ahead and retweet so people can follow along. Our goal is to get to 5,000 users on YouTube pretty shortly. I think we're about 50 people away from that. So if you can let your friends know about us, we'd greatly appreciate it. All of our social sites scrolling down there below at Horse Race, the number 2 day. All right. So you like the 1, 9, 2, and 3 in that first race, Umay? All right. Any ideas? Any thoughts? Melvin, where are you on your pick 5s today, my brother? Race number 2, Terry. What are the conditions here?
All right. We're going to drop back to 6.5 furlongs. It's a $5,000 claiming race. First, 18,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 2 races since October 8th.
And at 6.5 furlongs, stalkers do pretty good, although 1 out of 4 still managed to take the field from gate to wire. And there you have probably the most blatant post position bias, where the inside is much better than the outside. So the closer you are to the rail, the better your chances of winning are, especially if you have a little bit of speed. Terry, anybody on the inside in the second race that might fit that description?
Well, the 5 and the 1 do. So the 1 does have some speed, and it's probably going to be head-to-head between those 2. And then the 2 has a small overlay from 3.5 to 1 to 4 to 1. And the 9 has an overlay from, about 4 to 5 to 5 or 9 to 2. And then the 9 and the 2 show the only par plus numbers. All of them show some kind of a C zone number.
Mm-hmm. Our trip handicapping says that, well, this is a pretty balanced race, except a little maybe one extra guy, the angry man, sitting back there in the closer's role. So everybody should get a sort of trip that they're looking for. Pylon might be the quickest out of the gates. Dixie Cannonball, our Good Time Charlie, they'll be right there too. A little bit of a drop off after that to Mischievous Jones. Late speed, perhaps, Could be where this race is won, Terry. Rudy Rod shouldn't be all that far from the pace. Tied with Crypt for the late speed advantage. So you got the PC type. Those are, you got to like those. These three in the middle are your Sesame Street horses, unlike any of the others. Top total pace predicts a pretty competitive race here, Terry. These top four generally account for the winner 72, 73% of the time. And I think you start with one and I start with the other.
Yeah, I start with Rudy Rod, the 9. He finished fourth in his last race as the favorite, but his high percentage winning trainer wins 22% of the races when beaten favorite back again. And this course drops in class and has his best dirt speed as fastest among today's starters. Then the 6, Dixie Cannonball, is my second choice, ran second versus Tougher in his last race, has the highest last speed rating. He's actually tied with another horse, and he has a trainer that wins 20% of the claiming races he has a horse competing in. The one, Our Good Time Charlie, he finished in the money in 3 out of the last 4 races, and he won one of those starts. Rail Pulse is winning at a 22% clip. He's my third choice. My long shot is 7, Mischievous Jones. He ran second versus Simmer in his last race and has a high percentage winning jockey. And I'm going to do a pick 4 in here, 50 cent, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 with the 1, 3, 5, 8, with the 1, 8, with the 3, 7 of $48 cost.
And again, more imitation being the highest form of flattery. Uzmet likes the 6 and the 9, just like you, Terry Umet.
All right.
I'm going to go with the 2 horse, one that didn't even make your list. Either one of you guys. Fink. The boy, English. Let's go with English here. Let's translate to English. Let's see, what does it say? It says, don't make Uncle idle. They will smile. They chant at us all evening. I don't know what the heck that means, but it's got to have some meaning. I like the 2 horse in here, Terry. Who doesn't wish, Crypt. I was going to say Crypto, but who doesn't wish they bought a little bit of Crypto quite a few years ago? This one is a class dropper, the 2 horse in here, Crypt. The last couple of times that he won at this level, he did so easily. So let's see if that finds his comfort zone in here today. My son's name is Rudy. Rudy Rod, most consistent performer in the field. Dropping in class in here, Terry. It's going to cut some distance and cut some weight. That combination, usually a pretty good one. I think a lot of trainers do the cut the distance, cut the weight thing when they feel like their horse is close to peak form. Speaking of cutting weight, Pylon, very good chance to be your pace setter in here, as we saw both here and in the trip pace, but also catching a 10-pound weight break today, Terry. That should really speed Pylon up. And then finally, number 7, Mischievous Jones. This one is better with its late speed in its last race. All it might need to score here is get off to a little bit of quicker start, although it hasn't shown a propensity for that. I'm going to do my pick 4 here, Terry. 2, 5, 9 with the 3, 5, with the 3, 8, with the 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 11. I wanted to go all again, but couldn't afford it and didn't want to take anybody out in the middle. Race number 3 is our next stop in, again, an 11 race card with some big pick 5 today, Terry. This one could be one that upsets one of those early pick 5s or pick 4s because it's one of our favorite type of races.
Yeah, it's shortening up a little bit more to 6 furlongs. It's a maiden claiming, $10,000 claiming price, $19,000 purse for maidens and 3-year-olds and up.
Melvin, we need your 2 pick 5s today, my friend, because they are for big money today. So make sure you put that in the screen for us. Good morning, Kristen. Michelle, I'm feeling number 5. All right. For which race are you feeling number 5? Race number 2? And then Steely Danza Cordova. Don Johnson. Hey, Don, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us again. We certainly appreciate all the comments. It's an easy way to interact with us. We love it. You share your picks. It is a community. If you have some insights that you like really today, we'd greatly appreciate that as well. And of course, any comment or interaction with us helps us with the tech oligarchs and their algorithms. At maiden claiming 6,000, 6 furlongs, Terry, we're looking for stalkers. 31% of the time, though, they do go wire to wire. Strong rail bias for Barassi. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7 get a discount. 8 and out discounted, but not as much as the middle horses. Terry, in this maiden claimer, that could anything could happen. It's usually good to be forward. Who's that going to be?
Well, that's at 7 shows the most, but as you can see there, lots of them show some kind of speed. The 3 has a overlay from about 7 or 8 to 5 to 4 to 1, and the 5 has an overlay from about 8 to 5 to 9 to 2. The 5 and the 3 are the only ones that have par plus numbers, and all but the 7 shows some kind of C zones.
Yeah, so let's see color everywhere. So just about anything can happen, as we always see in these maiden claiming races. Again, the 1 and the 9, they're going to give it a go for the first time. The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. If they can get to the lead, look out, because it is a lone horse. They love him. The 7, though, Wrigley Reserve. That one should give it a little bit of a tussle early on. As far as our late speed is concerned, 'Twas the Night. A little bit quicker than the other closer, Broken Hearted. And then our top total pace horses for the experienced ones, the Great Pumpkin, 'Twas the Night. They're 8 points better than Wrigley Reserve or Broken Hearted. So those two experienced horses should have the edge. The question is, what do the pair of first timers bring? Terry, my question to you is to tell me why you picked the 8 horse as your top choice.
Well, Broken Hearted ran second versus Tougher in his last race. He drops in class today, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then the 3, the Great Pumpkin. He ran second versus Tougher in his last race as well. He also drops in class and has a high percentage winning speed rating, last speed rating. And then Brassy, the 1, is my third choice. He's a first-time starter whose dam has one winner from one starter, and his sire wins 18% of the races with first-time starters. The rail post is winning 22% clip, and his breeding suits today's distance. 5 is my long shot, 'Twas the Night, finished third versus similar in his last race. No bets in here for me other than the normal bets that we have.
Kristen says number 3 had a great run last time, coming in second. 'Twas the Night is my second choice. So 3-5 for Kristen. So great minds thinking alike, Terry. There we go. I like the Great Pumpkin too, but I'm a little bit concerned about it. The one probably big bonus is it did run par last out. So again, par figure being 71. I think it might be the only horse in the field that did that. That would be the reason why I would give it a top rating in there. My only concern, though, is this horse has had 20 chances to win so far and hasn't collected on one of them. 'Twas the Night. This one just missed last time out as well at this level, with a good chance to be better in the second start after a layoff, and also one of those horses with the par plus score. A Broken Hearted, your top pick, Terry, the 8 horse, held its speed deeper into the race last time out at a higher level. Back to maiden claiming 10,000 today. Didn't win last time, but none of them have won so far. So I don't really consider it a class drop, even though it is class dropping. And then finally, number 7, Wrigley Reserve, could be better in the classic third start after a layoff, but certainly carrying 10 pounds less than the rest should work to its advantage. And that's what we see there. Think Brassy, good. Yeah, Brassy, you like that one. Okay. Fink likes Brassy. I think Brassy is the winner. So we have a bunch of differing opinions here. So we have the 3 and 5 for me and Kristen. Terry likes the 8. Brassy likes the 1. That's in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horse race. That's half of them.
Yep. And good morning, Don Johnson. I see you're chiming in here.
Race number 4 is what we're going to chime in on next, Terry. I want to try to make it through, if we can, the first 5 races for our opening pick 5 before the races start.
Well, I think we can.
I think we'll probably do. I think we're making great time right now. Winning time, if you will.
That's right. Well, this one's a mile and a 16th, and it's a claiming $5,000 claiming price, purse $18,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won a race since October 8th, I imagine 2022.
Probably.
Or 23.
Yeah, either way. Probably these horses don't win a whole lot anyway, but you're going to make more than one full lap around the track. 2 turns, you better be fit. They don't run a whole lot at a mile and a 16th, but when they do, surprisingly, you would think a horse that would come off the pace might do good, but no. 47% of the horses have gone wire to wire. The rail social group played fair, 2 and 3 discount. The best place to be is 4, 5, 6, or 7. 8 and out, they get penalized, Terry. So show me a little bit of speed, preferably in the middle of the track, Terry, when the gates open, and I think you might find yourself a winner. But, yeah, there's one, Terry, that's going to say, I'm out of here when the gates open.
That's right. That one is the lots and lots of speed. Should get there to that quarter pole first. And if nobody pushes, he may go all the way. The 8 shows a small overlay of like even money to about 7 to 5. There's no par plus numbers except for the 8. And then 3 and 8 are the only ones that show C zones.
Robert, we'll put up our picks in just a moment again before race 1 gets started, Robert. So hang in there. But just real quickly, race number 1, this is how Terry and I went ahead and plotted out our picks for that one. Yes, please give me a link to live stream at Parx. The best place to do that is to open up an account, and that way you can watch them live. We use TVG or Twin Spires, or there's a whole host of them, and Naira in the States. If you're outside of the United States, I would consider something like William Hill, Bet Us. I can never remember the one down in Australia, Terry, and I apologize for that. But I know you could fund them with Bitcoin and some other foreign currencies as well. Finalist and Maru look great here for Think Fink in race number 4. Let's see. Live link Parx. Yeah, again, that's how we can do it. So we went through the early speed. We haven't gone through the race setup for race number 4. The 8-horse finalists might want to be a pace setter in here, but if it doesn't get the lead, maybe struggle a little bit. Social Group does look like the one that has the Jets right at the get-go. Maru could give it a little bit of competition. Finalist is in the mix, but maybe a length and a half off the rest. But might be able to make up that length and a half over the speed horses with a pretty aggressive late speed advantage over the rest of this field. Doesn't get discouraged by not getting the early lead. Also has a pretty strong total pace advantage. This one is what, 15, 14 points greater than the next closest horse. So according to that, finalist wins by about 3 lengths, Terry. But that's not what is your top pick? Mine too.
It is. Finalist is my top pick. He drops in class today. Has a trainer wins 20% of the races when dropping a horse down 2+ classes. Number 1, Social Group is my second choice. Ran second versus similar in his last race. Early speed running style helps his chances, so he can improve at the shorter distance. And then Icy Storm, the 3, is my third choice. Finished third versus similar in his last race. Has a high percentage winning jockey. And then 6, Texpectation, is my long shot, has won the only race he has competed at Parx Racing, and he can handle the distance. I'm going to play 50-cent Don Johnson pick 4, 1-8 with the 3-5-6-7 with the 2-5-6-7 with the 3-4-6. It's a $48 ticket.
I want to start off with the 8-horse like you, although Terry, I mean, it's got that huge total pace. Last race, though, was a bummer, but the fractions were still faster. The early pace was better, too. Going to drop. Big total top pace advantage, but unfortunately, too many times we've seen these horses that on paper should win going away finish second at Parx. If that's the case, then trending in the right direction is Icy Storm. And if it's going to win, this will be the distance that it wins at. 12 races, 5 of them ending up in the winner's circle. Or if you go to the other side of the equator, the winner's enclosure. And who knows, after the eclipse today, we might flip the polls again. So then it will become the winner enclosure here. Number 1, Social Group. That one's got all that giddy up and go with the gas when the gates open. Terry, going to be out on the lead. Everybody's going to have to pass this one at some point. And last time out showed more stamina, holding its speed deeper into the race. And then finally, Maru, the 4-horse, gets a major jockey upgrade today to Michel Sanchez or Michael. I don't know how he pronounces his name. And then he's also going to drop in class, too. And he's the top jock right now over there holding down the fort in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. In race number 4, Umet on the 3, the 1, and the 8. All right, Melvin Torres coming out with his Philly 5 for race number 1. Screenshot that, folks. 1, 3, 9, 10, singling the 9. Then he's going to go 3, 5, 8, singling the 3. So a couple of chain links in there that better be pretty strong in his pick 5 sequence. And then closing out with the 3, the 11, and the 5. This next race, Terry, when I went through it, I don't know about you, but I almost threw my hands up and said, you know what? It's just impossible to handicap in this one, Terry, especially with a couple of horses in there that I thought, at least Sunshine Harry, that might be the best one in here. All right, so this wide open affair, Terry, at Parx in race number 5. Why am I so confused? What are they doing?
Well, it's a 6 furlong race, and it's a claiming $7,500 claiming race, but for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 2 races. And so I guess that's why there's a pretty competitive race, really. All righty, that's it.
Non-winners of 2, 6 furlongs. Stalkers are the favorite way to get to the winner's circle, Terry. 31% of the time, you get to the lead, you keep the lead, you get the winner's check. In this case, 60% of 21 grand. The rail is pretty strong, so full contact has a good shot, perhaps, to outrun those 15-1 odds with Silvestre Gonzalez on the mount. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7, a bit of a discount. 8 and out, a smaller discount. Terry, maybe there are some clues in the early speed for race number 5. Again, we find one, and it is the one that has all of the octane.
He does. He's got all kinds of speed. The only other speed in here that shows in the data is the 12 and the 11. The 8 shows an overlay from about 4.5 to 1 to 8 to 1. None of them have any par plus numbers since they scratched the 4. And then all but the 5 and 10 show some kind of a C zone. And there's 2 or 3 of them that have really nice C zone numbers.
Best bet coming up in race number 5, the 1 for Umet. So we'll foreshadow that a little bit, but we kind of gave it away. Yeah, that one horse has that early speed, Terry. Let's see if that translates to our trip handicapping. Well, if the one horse has some speed, he is typically one that likes to close. That would make him a left arrow horse. Let's see. Is he going to be up front? Bang, he will be up front. He's in the middle. Those left arrow horses tend to do pretty well. On the outside is the other speed, Skyhook. That one's going to have to run around a bunch of horses to clear, but plenty of room on the backstretch to do that. Neither one of them really showing a whole lot of late speed in there, though, Terry. That would be Bluey. But of other horses that might be up to the front, you have this trio here, the 7, the 8, and the 9, showing that they have enough late speed and enough early pace to keep up. Maybe that trio is where we ought to be looking for the winner in this wide open race. And they do, along with the 11. So the 7, 8, 9, and 11 grading out as your top total pace horses in here. Looks like if you go all the way down here, except for the 6, 2, and 1, these horses are your best chance to win. And Terry, I think you and I, we both started with horses down here. So maybe we are out of our minds today.
Could be.
No,
I
thought you had a 12, but no, you're in that mix.
Yeah, I have the 3, Bad Bobby. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Bookmaker, the 7th second choice, has been knocking at the door, finishing in the money in his last 2 races, running second in his last race, only missing the win by a neck, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. Marvelous Moon Dance, the 6, is my 3rd choice, ran 2nd versus similar in his last race, and Bluey, the 5, is my long shot. He ran 2nd versus similar in his last race at Parx Racing, and he has a high percentage winning jockey, and no bets other than the normal ones that we do each race.
So the game run is the easy winner, race number 5. I'm glad someone has that kind of clairvoyance in that race, because clarity. I mean, I had a hard time in that one. I have the 11 in there. Rich, where the first pick 5 at Parx Racing starts? When? I think when you look in the TVG and all that stuff, I know it says pick 4. I have a feeling if you click on that, you might be able to make the pick 5 bet, because I think this race is one that got added in from the cancellation the other day when it got rained out. Otherwise, I think it's probably was intended to be a 10 race card. I know this race is wide open, Terry. I picked the all button in my pick 5. So if I get to this point, I really don't care who wins. But I hope the 1 does win. It's going to run at the lowest level of its career. It is a left arrow horse, has a lot of early speed, gets the rail bonus. What the hell? The early speed on the rail and the class drop might be the winning angle. Game run, the one that we're told is an easy winner. Well, maybe does have the most back class and will be coming at the very end of the race. Bookmarker, the 7 horse for me, one that you and I agree on, Terry, just missed in its last race. It's moving up in class, though, which is a bit concerning. And it is coming from Penn. Ugh. But at Parx, it does have some experience in 9 races with a win of 2nd and 3rd. So the Penn to Parx angle concerns me, just not full-scale concern. Finally, Bluey, the 5-horse, the other one we agree on, Mr. Terry, and here just missed at this level last time out. So going to get a weight break today, which might have been the difference last time out at this level. A lot of times horses that just compete at this level do pretty well. And then the next time out, we got 9 minutes. So we did make it through that opening pick 5. I'm happy about that. We're going to get to the race 7 pick 5 pretty soon. Think quality different. Yeah. Class is class is a huge factor a lot of times in horse racing. Most of the time, particularly if they're displaying that class right now. Race number 6, Terry, is the mid-mark of an 11-race card, another marathon day in Bensalem, PA. What are they going to do in race 6?
Well, we'll lengthen it out to a mile, and it's a maiden claiming race for $10,000 claiming price, $19,000 purse for maidens, fillies, 3-year-olds.
At a mile on the Philadelphia course, where they're going to go basically start and finish in the same joint, Terry. So at that 2-turn, 1-lap mile, we're looking for horses that have the stalking ability. Not necessarily got to be on the lead, but probably forwardly placed. Strong rail for the last jet could benefit from that position. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7 get a discount, but really the best place to be in this maiden claiming $10,000 spot in the 6th race would be this guy. Summers at the Shore. You know what? And that's really a good place to be in the summertime, Terry. Is it a good place to be at the start of the race today?
Well, I don't know. It looks like to me that 3 has the most speed, but then you got the 4, 8, and 6 that come up with some speed. It's really anybody's guess who's going to get there first, I think. The 2 shows an overlay of about 6-5 to 7-2, and the 7 shows an overlay from 3.5 1 to 9-2. And then none of them have par plus numbers. And then the 8, 7, 6, and 4 show the C zones.
Yeah, it looks like the 8-horse in here, Summer at the Shore, grading out as the horse with the best C-zone score in there. Over 50% too for Moon at Night. Trip handicapping tells us in race number 6, if the 8 can get to the lead, it's a low knee. Confidence can grow as it gets more bold as the finish line approaches, although it might have its work cut out for it because the 1 and 3 and 4 maybe a touch quicker, and also the advantage of the inside. Late speed, driven to success, about a length and a half quicker than Hurricane Bond. That one's going to be off the screen perhaps when the race gets started. The 3 and the 4 here, Terry, so far they haven't shown much. It does look by the race shape that early speed should have the edge, but our top total pace horse in here is the 1 horse. The Last Jet should be in contention early, enough late speed to be considerate. And Hurricane Bond, the 6 horse, the lone P type. Those 2 might be a nice ice cold exacta, Terry. You got any of them? We don't have the 1 anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. I like the 7 Moon at Night. Ran second versus similar his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 31% of the route races that he has a horse he trains, competes in, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 2 is my second choice, drops in class today. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then number 6, Hurricane Bond, ran second versus similar. His last race has the highest last speed rating and has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money 9 out of 16 starts with 5 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 5 driven to success is my third choice. He finished third in his last race. The longer distance should help. And he has a good workout on March 27th. Another Don Johnson pick 4, 50 cent, 2, 5, 6, 7 with the 3, 4, 6 with the 1, 2 with the 2, 3, 7, a $48 cost.
I'm going to start the middle race with the 2 horse, Ama Barilla. It's the only horse in this race to ever hit par for this level and running at the lowest level of its career. There you go there. Quality again. Moon at Night, going to go long for the first time. That can be a winning angle. Could speed her up and does catch a weight break today, too, to help out. Number 6, Hurricane Bond. Woke up in her last race. It was the best ever. This will be the second route run, and the other that was the second route run, and the other route run was the best effort at that time. So maybe this horse is not a sprinter. Maybe it's a router, but it's also a pen shipper. So I'm not quite sure what to do with all of that because you usually downgrade those pen horses when they go to Parx. And then finally, number 8, Summer at the Shore. That's what I would like to do this summer, Terry. Let's hit these big pick 5s today and spend the summer at the shore. Didn't run much faster fractions last time out. It was at this level, but guess where that happened, Terry?
I don't know where.
At Penn. Boo.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of that. All right, so we got race number 6, an exacta for Umet with the 2 and the 1. Alma Brighter and the Last Jets. Also wants the 2167. You got a lot of horses in there. Horse racing today at Parx. Kicey Ficey picks. Screenshot that, folks. Perhaps you can intertwine those or intermingle them with Terry and I's picks today as you work your way through this 11 race card at Parx. We are going to move on, as Melvin said, to race number 7, which starts that second pick 5. Terry, for a bunch of bucks. How are they going to start this one?
Well, they're going to stretch out to 1 mile and 16th. Claiming race, $5,000 claiming price, $18,000 purse. It's for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since October 2nd. All righty.
And 1 mile and a 16th, again, we mentioned they don't run a ton of these races, Terry. But when they do, you better be fast because a bunch of them go wire to wire, damn near half of them. The rail is fair, so Henry III should run all right. 2 and 3 get discounted. 4 through 7 was really the best place to be. 8 and out get penalized, Terry. So show me some rail speed or show me some horses with the middle number that have some gas.
Well, there's all kinds of speed in here. Several of them. The 8, 1, 3, and 7 show the most speed. And then the 4 has an overlay from about 4 to 5 to 4 to 1. The 4 and the 6 have the only par plus numbers, and all but the 2 and 9 show some C zones, although the 7's kind of low.
Yeah, you have a couple of them in here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them with a 50% higher C-zone score. In the 7th race, pretty balanced. So far, the 2-horse Moliere has not shown it can finish within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line. So maybe you can shorten up the race by 1 horse. Maybe. Early on, when the race gets started, you better be on the lookout for City Rage. That one, the E-horse, is about a length quicker than everybody else and really not a lot of speed to its inside to outrun. So the 6 should be the one that sets the tone early on as they come home down the stretch in this 1 mile and the 16th. The Twins Sneakers, along with Macabim, they're considerably faster than everybody else. So this race, Terry, on paper looks like it's a race between the 6-horse up on the front and then the 2 closers with the 4 and the 5 as they grade out as our 3 top total pace horses, all tied and 11 points clear of the next group. There you go. 4, 5, 6, exact the trifecta box. Terry, maybe that's a winner. Who's your winner?
I like the 6 City Rage. Drops in class, has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 30% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back again, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The 4 is my second choice, ran second versus similar in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then number 3 is my third choice, can improve while returning to a route. He likes this distance and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Assembly Point, the 7 is my long shot. He is claimed by a high percentage winning trainer and switches a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play the 50-cent pick 5. I'm going to use the 3, 4, 6, 7, single a 1, and then I'm going to use the 2, 3, 4, 7. Use the 3, 7, and finish up with a 6, 8, 9, 11. It's a $64 ticket.
I'm going to go City Rage as my top pick here, Terry. Biggest class dropper, lowest level of its career. First up with a trio of decent workouts. 4, Macabim. It's your other par plus horse here. Was a faster about 2 seconds last out. Going to get a weight break today and did run the top last race speed figure by about 3 points last out. Number 5, the Twin Sneakers, probably the most consistent performer in this race, Terry, and part of that trio that's graded out as the top total pace horses. In Wizard Surat, the 9-horse, the final call for me. Chance to be better in the second start after a layoff. All of the race internals were better last out. Pick 5 for me, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 3, 7, 8, 10, 5, 8, and 9. And yeah, I was looking at that pick 5 too. They're about to run race number 1. So let's rewind back to here. But if you go to the program here today, it does show on the first race the 50-cent filly pick 5. So I understand that TVG and all those others in there are saying that doesn't exist, but the program says it exists, and I think they tossed it in. I'm really not sure what's going on, but I do know that race 1 is about to get started. So here we go. Right now, Jeeper at 3-5 is your favorite. The looks like the 8 horse ain't too happy about being in the gates right about now. It's rearing up. They've settled it down. And now the 7 horse says, anything you can do, I can do too. Yeah. Starting to get a little antsy. Looks like they've got everybody settled for the opening race at Parx for this new Money Monday, Terry. And that 8 horse is still a little jumpy. Come on, settle down, big boy. They can't get him to straighten his head out. He wants to look. There he goes. He's off and running. And they're off and running. And the 12 horse, way wide, has been able to jet to the front. The question is, though, the 1 horse is going to make him work through the turn there. The 1 and the 12 are on the lead. You got the 3 horse saving ground on the rail. To its outside is the 7, Bear or Bull. You got a whole host of horses right there trying to keep pace. It looks like right now those 2 front runners have separated themselves by about 3 lengths from the 3-5 favorite. The 1 horse, Rush Center, is running out there. They're going a little bit too fast, I think, Terry, in 23-2. So the 1 and 12 are setting a pretty good pace. But I hope for you that 12 horse wins, Terry, because he's 18-1.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be a great way to start a pick 5 for sure. Question is, can those 2 horses maintain that pace? Let's see if they got a chance to catch a breather here, Terry, in the back. Yeah, they did. They got them run 48-1, so they did get to slow it down a little bit. Question is, how much did they use to get themselves up to the front? Looks like right about now it is a 3 horse race, and one of those horses we don't have, either one of us, Terry, and that is the 1 horse. 3 horse trying to go 3 wide as they go through the turn. Those are your primary competitors right now. I don't really see anybody at the back of the pack getting aggressive. The 3 horse has just said sayonara to the 1 and the 12, although the 12 horse is trying to get by the 1 horse, although the 12 horse just ran way up the track. Looks like the only horse in here that's going to compete for the win is going to be the 2 horse, but there's not enough track left for that horse to win. It's going to be the 3 horse in a romp. It's going to go 3, 1. I think that might be the 10, 12. I'm not 100% sure, Terry, if that's the 10 or the 12, the 2. And if so, that 10 horse, Terry, went off at 33-1.
Wow.
That would have been make for a nice exacta, perhaps. So 3 horse went off. I mean, the bettors on the ground seemed to see what it was the 2 horse, actually. That one was still a decent price at 13-1. So we're both alive in our pick 5, if there is one. Fingers crossed, since I singled the 3 horse, right?
Yeah.
The real weak link in my chain. So now I have a little, I got the 8 horse as a single later on, too. All right, Terry. Well, we did our, let's see, Melbourne Tours, the late pick 5 here, race 7, which we know for sure is happening, is right here. Late pick 5, Manado. That's what it was last week. What do you mean last week? I'm not sure what you mean, Don. I know it shows on I don't know really what's going on with that early one. It does show on like I said, on the past performances.
FanDuel was just advertising it. So
for the first race?
Yeah, as a $350,000 carryover. So if you're watching FanDuel racing, they were talking about it.
So who knows? Nobody knows. Maybe they need somebody who writes those the race descriptions, Terry, to emphasize it 2 or 3 times like they do. Non-winners of 2, non-winners of 2, non-winners of 2. So everybody can be clear on that.
Yep.
So again, we did our pick 5s for the second pick 5. I know that one for sure. I think that's the bigger carryover, like $362,000. So here are our pick 5s there. But we're off to race number 8, which begins the beginning of the late pick 4. We know that will be running for sure too, Terry. We know for sure that they're going to hit these qualifications.
Yeah, we're going to go back to 6.5 furlongs. It's a claiming price of $5,000, an $18,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 2 races since October 2nd.
And race number 7's pick 5 is a mandatory payout. So this would be the one that if you can hit it, guess what? You're going to pot it. So let's see if we can pot this one, Terry. 6.5 furlongs. You're looking at horses with tactical speed being the best way to find the winner circle, although 25% do go wire to wire. There's a very strong inside to outside bias, probably the strongest post position bias of any distance at the Parx track. So if you have some inside speed, the closer you are to the rail, the better you are, Terry. And it does look like, looks like the speed's on the outside here, though.
Yeah, it really does. I got to get back to my screen here. Okay, yeah, we show that actually, I
The 9
might
and
have.
the 10, yeah.
Oh, okay, the
ones,
one,
along with the 5. They're in that one's in
yeah,
there too.
the 5 and the 10 and 9 have the most speed, and then the one. Let's see, the 1 has an overlay from 4 to 5 to 3 to 1, and the 2 has an overlay from about 7 to 5 to 7 to 2. And then the 1, 2, and 9 shows par plus numbers, and they all have some kind of a CISO.
Indeed, all that speed there on the outside, all of the par plus. Again, if you're new to the show, kindly, if you're watching on Twitter, retweet so folks can play along, especially on these days of this mandatory pick 5, race 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Good chance to maybe have a good start to your summer. So what that says is that the 1 horse Perfect Silent Cat, 52% chance in our 10,000 simulations to run a speed figure of about 83 or better. Our trip handicapping says pretty balanced race, although you have a couple of really versatile horses with the 4 and the 10, the 1 and the 2, but absolutely symmetrical from the front to the middle to the back. Early on, the pace does give Lord Uhtred about a little bit of almost a length advantage over Perfect Silent Cat, although that one might have to hustle just like we saw with the 12 horse in that opening leg to get to the front, because there's plenty of pace to its inside. At the end of the race, if the pace is too hot, Superfly. That one's a little bit quicker than everybody else, Terry, but towards the back of the pack, though not a real big gap if you toss out the 10 horse on the early speed. Our top total pace horse is Perfect Silent Cat over, Superfly over, but it's a 6-point advantage for the 1 horse. The PC, a lot of versatility with that horse, can pick pretty much where it wants to be on the track. Terry, can you pick it as your top choice to find the winner's circle? Indeed, you did.
I did. I like Perfect Silent Cat. He likes Parx racing. He's been in the money 78% of his starts here, and he's won 29% of those. And he likes the distance. He's been in the money 100% of the races at today's distance. Superfly over the 2 is my second choice. Ran second versus 7 in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then the 5 Cargo Ships, my third choice, drops a class today, has a high percentage winning Trimmer, wins 20% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Federal Case, the 3, is my long shot third. He finished third in his last race, has a high percentage jockey, and has a bullet workout on March 30th. I'm going to bet a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3, 5 with the 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm going to single the 7 and then finish up with a 6, 8, 9, another $48 cost.
I, like you, I'm going to start with the 1 and the 2. The 1 horse in there, Terry, that is the sim favorite in there. Perfect Silent Cat is that top total pace horse in this race. Class dropper, going to run at the lowest level that it's run in its last 10 races. So facing the easiest competition it's seen in a bit. Super flyover, the 2 horse might not be that easy of a beat. Just missed at this level last time out. And quite frankly, ran a speed figure 15 points clear of the next closest horse. That one will have to regress a lot, or the others will have to pick it up in order. So the question is speed figure or total pace? Which one of those is going to win this race? Lord Uhtred, the 10 horse, that one does have some better fractions last time out, 6 furlongs versus 5.5 furlongs. That was at Penn. I'm not a fan of that, but the horse has proven it can run at Parx as well. 13 times out, 3 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. So a little bit more than half of the time in the money, and going to catch a weight break today. And then finally, number 4, Petulant Delight. Sounds like ice cream on a Saturday night in the summer. Big old bowl. Was the favorite last out. Better fractions at 7 furlongs than it ran at 6.5 furlongs. So cutting back to 6.5 furlongs could be a key to the beaten favorite, finding its way back to the bettor's hearts. Race 9, Terry, 3 to go in this 11 race marathon. This one's a marathon in distance.
It is. It's a mile and 70 yards. It's an optional claiming race, $16,000 claiming price. Purse $30,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $8,000 or less since April 3rd, 2022, or a claiming price of $16,000.
Mm-hmm. I like at a mile and 70 yards. I like horses that have some early speed. 42% of the time they do go wire to wire. There is a little bit of a rail penalty for Copperhead Creek is not in. So maybe Kingsville suffers a little bit there. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7, a penalty. 8 and out is fair, Terry. So once again, speed is a driving force at Parx in race number 9. The fastest little demon ain't in the race anymore, so it could really benefit this one here.
Yeah, the 7 shows the most speed, but there's some other horses in there that show some kind of speed. The 3 has an overlay from about 8 to 5 to 9 to 2. The 7 has an overlay from about 6 to 5 to 5 to 1. 7, 3, 6, and 5 show some par plus numbers, and then all of the horses show some kind of C zones, and most of them are pretty nice.
I look at the pace set up here in this 9th race, Terry, for the beginning of the late pick 3. Nobody really wants to show any speed in here. So if you get to the lead, you could go all the way. The Midnight Act, Vine Gent, Olympic Romp, those 3 are likely to get to the front, the 5 being the one that mostly wants to be forward, although this quartet right here does have a lot of versatility. Late speed looks like a pretty tight race in here, although, yes, sir, Colonel, maybe kind of way off the pace, but My Redemption and Vine Jet, they have some late leg ability, kind of good gap over Kingsville, Midnight Act, and Olympic Romp. I think the benefit here could go maybe to Vine Jet in our top total pace horses because it should be closest to the front with some of that late speed. Again, you got 3 horses in here that are 5 points better than everybody else, so about 1 length. So maybe take those top 3 in your exacta or trifecta, Terry, and make that your bets. What do you say?
I like the 7 Vine Jet. He's my first choice. He has won his last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And that trainer-jockey combination in the last 14 days have won 2 out of 2 starts. Yes, sir, Colonel. The 3 is my second choice. Ran second versus similar in his last race. Has a high percentage winning trainer. Kingsville, the 2 is the third choice. Won his last race at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. My Redemption, the 6, my long shot. He switches to a high percentage winning jockey. And the distance will not be a problem. No additional bets in here for me.
I'm going to start with 3. Yes, sir, Colonel. Still don't know how they get an R sound in that, but all right. There's an R in there somewhere. Most consistent performer in this field with numbers here at Parx that are on par to win here. You're going to drop in class today. Vine Jet did run the top last race speed figure, 5 points ahead of the next closest horse. Again, Andrew Beyer says anytime they run 3 or better than the next closest horse, that's one that you got to circle. And the resume says that improvement off a peak number is possible. That was my only concern there, is that was a peak. And a lot of times you see horses back off peak numbers. Number 6, My Redemption, going to drop in class to the lowest level. Where the last time he won. But again, this one's coming in from Penn. Number 8, Olympic Romp, up in class. Loves himself some Parx, Terry. 24 times, won 9 of them. So a little more than a third of those races in the winner's circle. Put that horse at any other track on the planet 28 times, just 4 wins. So a horse for the Parx course. 2 races to go. Whew, Terry, race number 10 is the first of those 2. What's it all about?
All right, race number 10 is a mile and 70 yards. It's an allowance race, $25,000. It's a purse of $32,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have started for a claiming price of $25,000 or less, and which have never won a race other than a maiden or claim, or which have never won 4 races.
So just a little bit of what I've learned from reading a lot of books, looking at these par speed numbers in here. When you're on a claiming race, you can take that par number, and as long as a horse is within 3, 4, 5 points of that par number, it can qualify. But on the like allowance types races, you're looking for horses that can actually hit that number or be the closest to it. Not a whole lot of leeway in that. If it's female set of horses, again, you can discount it by about 2-3 points from what I've read. So that's how I use par when I'm looking through here. That's why you see the yeses and the nos on there. Yes, it can get there. No, it can't get there, or hasn't anyway of late. At 1.70 miles, we did talk a little bit about horses needing some speed. A bunch of them, 42% going wire to wire. Rail penalty. Again, the rail's canceled out here. So maybe Supreme Being does wear that heavier belt. 2 and 3 are fair. 4 through 7 get penalized. 8 and out is fair as well. Terry, so once again, early speed being a determining factor in race number 10. And it does look like we got a few that can make a case for that, but one a little bit better than the rest.
That's right. That 7 shows more than the rest, although there's some speed from a lot of these. But the 4 has an overlay of about 6.5 to 1 to 8 to 1. 7 shows an overlay from about 4 to 5 to 3 to 1. The 7 has the best par plus number, although the 3 and 4 also has some kind of par plus. All but the 6 show C zones.
You got a green go horse for the first time today. Laytown is overlay. Is the strongest par plus candidate here, likely to be on the lead. I would like to see that C zone, that comfort zone number above 50. Let's see where that horse plays out on the racetrack here. Yes, E. It is an E horse along with the 3. Everybody else, middle or back, although the 4 and 10 being BC types do have some versatility. They can pretty much go anywhere on the track they want to go. Laytown should get the lead. The 3 horse, the EP horse, though, might make him work for it if he feels like that's the best way to the winner's circle. 7's probably a little bit more lead dependent than the 3, although the 7 does have a little bit better late speed according to our figures. Fictional Fairy Tale, Re-Rally, Dixie's 2 Stents. They're considerably quicker than everybody else down the stretch, although the 10 horse, again, with some flexibility as the PC type. Our top total pace horses in here, Terry, you got 2 of them, Laytown and Fictional Fairy Tale. The speed versus the closer. So the rabbit in the hare. No, it is the turtle in the hare, right? The rabbit and the hare would be the same race. Anyway, between the turtle and the hare, which one do you got?
I like the 7 as my pick of the day at Parx Racing, Laytown. He finished in the money in his last 10 races and won 3 of those. He has a highest speed figure at today's distance. Thirsty Pappy is my second choice. The 3 horse ran second last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Fictional Fairy Tale, the 5 is my third choice. He's won 2 out of the last 3 starts, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. The 8, Madison loses Duke.
Madison loves Duke.
Loves Duke. Yeah, that's right. Yes. He's the 8 horse. He my long shot. He has a high percentage winning trainer, switches a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to bet set $5 to win on the 7 and a $2 daily double 7-6.
Yes, Madison loves Duke. I had a dog named Duke and I absolutely loved that lab Doberman mix. One of the coolest dogs I ever had. Just like my chubby blonde girlfriend, now my yellow lab. So it must be something about labs that make them lovable. I am going to go with the 7 horse, that green go horse that we talked about. Green across the board here. This guy, when the gates open, absolutely going to be on the gas and likely a chance to improve in the second start after layoff. This one can just run back to its January 24th race. It will be a W for Terry's top pick of the day. The 10 horse Re-Rally, Terry. The Brisnet comment, you don't see this very often. Brutal trip. Wow. Prior to that, he could have been the favorite here off all those other races. You're going to get 10 to 1. I don't think you're going to get that. Number 3, Thirsty Pappy. This one ran similar fractions last time out at 1.70 miles as it did in the prior start at 6.5 furlongs. And much faster than the last time it ran at 1.70 miles. And then finally, Madison Loves Duke. This one is Jamie Ness, first off the claim, coming in from Turfway Park. And you just know with going into Jamie's barn for the first time, the horse will be better today than it's shown on paper. Final race of this day, Terry. Hopefully when we get to this level, we're rubbing our hands together gleefully because we're on the verge of winning 2 very big pick 5s. But in order to get there, Terry, what do they got to do?
Okay, they've got to compete at 6 furlongs. It's a claiming race, $7,500 claiming price, purse 21,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 4 races.
Again, if you're watching along today on Twitter, kindly hit the retweet. If you're watching on Horse Racing Radar TV on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button as well as the bell up in the corner. If you haven't gone over to Horse Racing Radar TV on YouTube, please go on over there. You can also follow us on all of our other social sites down there. Horse Race, the number 2 day. Kindly tell all of your horse racing friends or any of your other friends who are into wagering a few dollars on a risk bet all about us. 6.5 furlongs. Mr. Terry does favor horses with tactical speed, although a bunch, 31 out of 100 win gate to wire. Pretty strong rail advantage for Rex Kwando. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7 a discount. 8 and outs discounted, but not as much as the middle horses. So some inside 3 speed in the last race of the day could be the way, Terry. And there's a few of them that'll make the case to be your pace setter.
Yeah, there's several have speed. The 9 shows the most speed, followed up by the 7 and the 3. And then the 3 has an overlay from 2 to 1 to 9 to 2. The 5 has an overlay from 7 to 2 to 10 to 1. 3, 5, 9, and 8 show the only par plus numbers. And as far as the Z zones, all of them but the 5 and 10 show a C zone.
Yeah, again, closing out the late pick 5 in the late pick 4 with just a wide open race, Terry. And again, very balanced. Maybe you can take the 10 Smart Humor and toss it out of the race because he's not finished within 5 lengths. Maybe you can look at the 2 horses in here that are Sesame Street horses, the 7, If We Get Lucky, or the 11, Spinning Musicians, as having a tactical advantage over the rest of the field. When the race opens up, Terry, Red Devolution does have a tactical advantage too with the early speed edge over Liam's Blue Moon by about maybe 1 3/4 lengths. So the 3 should set that tone, Terry. 31% chance then to go wire to wire. Summer Ash, the 6 horse, does have a pretty aggressive late speed advantage over Modern Midas, but that one's going to be way back early on. It's going to have to make up a lot of ground, maybe weave its way through some horses. Hope it doesn't run into trouble as your top pick, Terry. Red Devolution, that early speed type, 3 points better than Modern Midas. But if you look at this, Terry, look, just kind of ratchets its way down a little by little by little. This one is, again, wide open. The question is, do you want the speed? I think Terry decided to go with the closer.
I did. He went with number 6, Summer Ash. He finished in the money in his last 10 races. He won 2 of those starts and finished 3rd in his last race. So he's very competitive. Leon's Blue Moon, the 9, second choice, finished 3rd versus similar in his last race. Has his best start speed is fast among today's starters. He's got a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then Harley's Charlie. He is the 8 horse. He's my 3rd choice. Won his last race at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey as well. Spinning Musician. The 11 is my long shot. Finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race and drops in class today. I'm out of money, so no additional bets other than our normal bet.
I have the 9 horse, my top selection, Liam's Blue Moon, just missed at this level. Last time out, Mr. Terry kind of got almost a little green go action right there. Same fractions at 6.5 furlongs as it ran, at 6 furlongs as it did at 6.5, and 4 consecutive speed figure increases. Barry Meadows says that if they have 3 consecutive speed increases, better than 15% chance, or at least a 15% chance for that horse to win. Harley's Charlie, the 8 horse, right to its inside. It's my 2nd choice. Small class rise after running a big race last out. It's been my experience. One big race is usually followed by another. Modern Midas doesn't look like it on paper, Mr. Terry, but ran considerably quicker fractions last time out. And then finally, Red Devolution, that 3 horse. Not a fan of those pen shippers whatsoever at all, if I haven't mentioned that already. This one is making its 2nd start after a layoff. That's pretty good. Gonna drop in class. That usually works out. And if you look at the past workouts, the most recent one in between races was the fastest ever published workout. So maybe that horse can up its game on that Penn to Parx angle. Again, like you said, Terry, no money for me, so no bets in race number 9. Here are our full picks for the day. In the opener, the 3 horse, your heavy favorite, was indeed your winner at 3 to 5. So let's hope that single can play its way through that opening pick 5 for me. Again, race number 7 today, Terry, being a big race for horse players because it is a mandatory pick 5 payout of over $360,000. Screenshot this, folks. You don't necessarily need to do that because when we hang up, we will post all of the race times in the description down below so you can go race by race by race in review. Of course, if you haven't done so, again, kindly hit the subscribe button on all of our social sites. Retweet, share our content with the share link from YouTube. And then tell your friends, you open up your window, get a megaphone. And when Terry and Rich are about to start, hey, Terry and Rich are about to start. Horse Racing Radar TV right now. What do you think of that advice, Terry?
I thought that's really good. So, and I wanted to mention that Melvin had got a pick 5 at Mahoning Valley, and he started off with the 3 winning that race. And then he also likes a pick 4 here at Parx, starting with the 9 in this race, then the 3, 5, 8, and then singling the 3, and then finishing up with the 3, 5, 11. So there you go.
Indeed. Good luck to you, Melvin, and to everybody else. We greatly appreciate all the interactivity. Again, we enjoy talking with everybody and sharing picks and learning ourselves, and it does help us with our algorithms at YouTube, along with Twitter and everybody else that scores things based upon interactivity. We'll be back tomorrow for Parx. Wednesday, we're going to do Keeneland. Not quite sure what's on the schedule Thursday. Probably as it stands right now, probably about 80% that will be off. Back on foreign Fridays. I know we're going to do the Grand National, the roller derby, crack 'em up derby of horse racing. I think 36 horses going running like forever, jumping over like 1,000 barriers. And by the time the race is over, there's only like 3 horses left because all the jockeys have fallen off the other one. It's it's quite a spectacle. All right, Terry, any final thoughts from you before you and I part ways today?
Yeah, just everybody have a really good day, a lucky day. If you're going to play these pick 5s, I hope you win them. And other than that, just be good to your relatives, your friends, your loved ones, because you never know what's going to happen from day to day.
Yes, indeed. Of course. Well, race 2 is about to get going. Terry, you want to stay for that, or do you not have time?
Yeah, we can stay for that. It's getting in there right now. So
yeah, so they're popping into the gates. It looks like the 1 horse is in right now. The odds in this race right now, the 9 horse, Terry, your top choice, is the favorite at 9-5. The 2 horse getting bet down from 4-1 morning line to 2-1 morning line. So those 2 are essentially co-favorites. Then you have next up on the board, it looks like a pair of them, the 1 and the 6 at 6-1. And next after that is the 5 horse. Everybody else there clicking in at over 10-1 odds. The 2 horse has taken over. Crypt as your betting favorite. Terry, slightly more than the 9 horse at 9-5 versus 2-1. So really just a few dollars difference between those 2 in the money pool. Looks like the 9 horse on the outside hopped a little bit at the start, so that could work to its detriment. The 5 horse Pylon, the one carrying less weight, has bolted to the lead, just like our analysis and our 10,000 simulation said it probably would. The 1 horse is behind it with the 7 between horses, Mischievous Jones. No, that's not the 7 between horses. That's the 6 between horses, Terry. Then behind that group, you have the 3 horse, and I can't see who's on the outside, the 9 horse. 2 horse also getting off to a funky break, so that one could find it very difficult to find its way to the winner's circle. Terry, the 9 horse going to run wide. The 5 horse right now is the one that is setting the tone. Reasonable fractions at 23 seconds, Terry. The 1 horse on the rail continuing to try to find its way into that, although the 1 horse does look like it's running the easiest, the 5 horse of the easiest of the front runners. Although other horses look like they're really working kind of hard, Terry. I think the 5 horse here is going to probably, and maybe, I don't know, the 7 horse is kind of zooming in there. I think the 5 horse is going to be your winner in here, Terry. It's going to go 5, and then it looks like the 1 horse next. Maybe the 7 horse finds its way into 3rd. So you got the 5, then the 7, 1, 9. 5, 7, 1, 9. Not quite sure what happened to that 2 horse. The 5 horse going off Pylon with the weight break. And if I remember correctly, I think Kristen liked that 5 horse early on in race number 2. Did I have him? I did have him in my pick 5. So still alive, Terry. fingers crossed. Maybe I can hit the opening one, Terry, and you can tick the ball on the tee and knock the guaranteed payout one out of the park tonight.
Could be.
All right. No matter what you're doing for the rest of this day, certainly we hope on this Money Monday that you do collect on one of these pick fives today. Certainly hope that your life dreams, whatever it is that you're working towards today, has God's grace, God's favor, and ends up in
the winner's circle.
Absolutely, indeed. Enjoy your Monday, folks. Terry and I'll see you tomorrow.